Greetings and welcome. I am Dr. Lori Wieters, and I am both friend and mentor to World Beyond Borders. We are a nonprofit program who strive to break down any kind of barriers that may exist between us. Through our programming, we invite individuals who have had significant accomplishments in life to come and share their stories with us. These stories are shared in hopes to create encouragement for those who are on similar life paths. Through this programming, we also want to ensure that we honor and respect the traditions of the past. We want to celebrate the present, and we want to set a solid foundation for those individuals who are coming behind us. Welcome to World Beyond Borders.
Hello, everyone. Today I have the privilege of introducing Kiran Vedantam, a very successful real estate investor, a first generation immigrant that worked very hard to succeed and to be where he is today. Kiran, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you. It's an honor that you chose to pick me to be part of your elite list of interviewers. I'm very honored, first of all. Second thing is, when you say I'm a real estate investor, it just feels like I'm like the Donald Trump trying to grab all the land. I'm a dad with two kids, and then my wife, we both used to work at Intel. And just because we started investing in a lot of businesses and real estate, we were able to quit our full-time career, and then we just became entrepreneurs. We own businesses, and we retired two times. That's what I tell a lot of my friends, because we thought, okay, our goal was to replace the income that we used to get from Intel working full time. And once we met that goal, my wife is like, okay, we met that goal. Why are we still working so hard? So we decided to retire. And then I got bored and I was driving her crazy. So I came back out of retirement. And now here we are. We are now running a YouTube channel. So the inspiration came when we did it in 2022, just to capture all our ideas, the experiences, so that we can inspire other people and help them. And we reactivated our mortgage company and real estate company. So that's a short summary of it. My real estate uh, YouTube channel is called Kiran Ski. My wife's name is Kiran, and my name is Kiran. So it's called Kiran Ski. So we integrate a lot of the learnings that we learned. So that was my long introduction, self introduction.
Wow, that's amazing. But you didn't just start successful. So let's go back and talk about when did you come to this country as an immigrant, and what are some of the challenges that you faced? So you didn't come already successful.
Yes, yes. So, like they say, right? I came with $10 in my pocket, but I had $10,000 in my bag. It's that kind of a story. Just like most of us, we came to ASU, Arizona State University, to get our masters. And after we graduated from there, both me and my wife started working at Intel. That's where we started. Obviously, there was no support from anybody else back home. In fact, my dad didn't want me to go to US because he said if something happens to me here, he has no resources to help me. He said, don't go. If you're here in Hyderabad, I'm going to make sure you have shelter. I'll make sure I'll find a bride for you. You can have a family. You can live in our home. I can buy air conditioning unit if that's what you're missing from America. He tried to convince me to stay back. But then we came here with nothing, in the sense that my dad wasn't supportive of the fact that we came here. But then now, looking back, he's very happy. The biggest challenge is when you ask, right? When we used to work at Intel, that was the best thing. The income was good, the benefits were good, life was just cruising. Cruising in the sense I would call it drifting, right? Drifting in the sense wherein the wind takes you wherever. Like they give you promotion every year, then some years they don't give you a raise. Some years they'll say that we are downsizing, so they put a lot of pressure on you, and you don't know if it's going to go through. So we were just trying to brainstorm and see where we are going with this, and it took us 8 years to really digest the opportunities that are there outside of corporate and what we learn that is the ultimate goal. Because my cousins, they all worked at Intel, Apple, and these big tech companies, and we are all led to believe that is the ultimate. And there is a spark that hits, right, sometimes.
Yeah.
And my challenge was my limited belief. So my mind thought that I only can work at Intel and I only can become a manager. That's what I thought. I thought that is like the ultimate uh, definition of success. So when I got married, my wife, she came here for her high school. So she's been here. She's almost, we call it the ABCD, right? American born, confused Daisy. So she has some of these groundbreaking ideas and plans that we implemented in our life. She gets the full credit for that, because I was like, we have the best job. They're paying for the 401k. Why do you want to quit Intel? She's like, nope, let's before I have kids, I have to quit Intel. I want to take care of the kids. I don't care if we make half the income. If you want kids, I'm resigning Intel. There is no way I'm sending my kids to the daycare. Nothing against the parents who send their kids to daycare. We have to. But I'm saying that was a challenge. My wife saying that she doesn't want her kids to go to daycare was the seed of where it started, and where I started to think, okay, what is my limitation? Why am I not owning these commercial complexes? Why am I not able to own these buildings? Why am I not able to follow the path that people successful before me who own millions of dollars of real estate are able to do? Like, why? So my challenge was me trying to convince my mind that yes, that is something that we could also do.
You touched on so many important key points. One is we limit ourselves. Our mind limits us. This is all we can do. And then you talked about how people are afraid to quit their comfortable job that gives you the paycheck every week. And then moms, they want to stay home with their kids. They want to invest in their children. So those are a lot of the reasons why people will think about, well, I don't want to be, and the fear of a company downsizing, that does put a lot of pressure on people. And today, in fact, I heard that Facebook is laying off another 10,000 people. Can you imagine? 10,000 people losing their jobs. So many of those people will go on, like you, to open up their own businesses. And we saw a lot of that happen in 2020, which pushed people to start their own businesses. And that's how it starts. But it's easy if you grew up in this country, maybe. But coming as an immigrant, I think there's a lot of challenges we face, especially if your English is limited. That's one of the biggest barriers that immigrants have, is that communication skill until they learn, and then they're on their way. And what an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. It's so true. And I see that you wrote this amazing book. Tell us about the book that you wrote. And it's so big. There must be a lot of information in there that other people can really use.
Thank you. Before I talk about my book and the story around that, I have to respectfully disagree on one quick statement. Okay. I say respectfully because I agree also on it. The thing that I felt when I came to this country was my language or my accent or the way I look, the way I sound, the way I dress, the way I smell could be putting off some of the people around me. But that is far from the truth in this country than anywhere else in the world, because I've lived at other places in the world. The path to be successful in this country is the least. Like if I have to summarize it, if you take the entire world like this, if you ask God, put me somewhere where I can be the best of my potential, right? I would pick America, because nobody is going to judge you on how you look. Nobody is going to judge you on what you know. They don't even care if you have a PhD. They would only care if you bring value to the table. And if I'm sitting with them, if I bring value, they are going to respect you. So a lot of immigrants have this feeling that, I cannot be this, I cannot be that, I cannot own commercial real estate, or I cannot do this. That's so false. So that leads me into my story of writing this book with, it's called Cracking the Code to Success, with Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy, I don't know, some people might know, he's huge in personality development, and he wrote like over 100 books. So here I'll give you an example, and I'll try to tie in my story with what you mentioned, that we all have our challenges. Me and my wife, we wrote a book on real estate. It's just a small dinky book, right? Then I sent it to everybody to write a foreword on my book. So I asked a few of the authors, I had a publisher, and I asked them, whom should I send it to? They said, send it to people that you know. Then I asked them, can I send it to Donald Trump? Because he's big in real estate, and I wrote a book on real estate. The public, they just laughed. Hey, why Donald Trump? So I sent it to Donald Trump. I sent it to Robert Kiyosaki. I sent it to Tony Robbins. I sent it to Brian Tracy. Then Brian Tracy replied back saying, I'd love to write the foreword on your book. Wow. And then he said, by the way, I'm writing a book. Would you like to be a co-author?
Oh.
So miracles happened. They said luck favors the brave, right? I had nothing to lose. I can ask anything to anyone. The worst thing that they could say is no.
Right.
And I had no shame of accepting no, because even as a real estate agent, people say no to me all the time. But still we made our millions in real estate being a real estate agent. And I made it, and I know taking a no is okay. Absolutely fine. So I took a no. Donald Trump ignored me, and that's okay. Brian Tracy said yes. And we wrote this book. It's called Cracking the Code to Success. So along with Brian Tracy, we told our story on how we quit Intel and how we got into businesses. Then there are other chapters wherein other entrepreneurs also contributed. And then it became a national bestseller. And here I am proud. When I was called for an interview, I was at least able to grab this book and put it in front of the camera. So that serves as an inspiration for myself, because when I look back 10 years ago, or when I was at Intel working as a software engineer, I could never imagine crafting a book and having a legend like Brian Tracy become my co-author. So that is a long story again for you.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you. We need to hear that. That's very inspiring for many people. And I have to agree with you also with what you talked about immigrants. It's not, America is the land of opportunity. In fact, 30%, I believe, 30% of our entrepreneurs in the United States are immigrants. So there's a lot that we contribute to our societies, our states, our cities, our local governments. There are so many successful stories of immigrants that come here and hardly speak English, but because of something they miss back home, they decide to create it here and market it and become so successful with it. Bread is one of those things. Pita bread or lavash or pickles, anything. So yes, the land of opportunity, and I'm so glad. The important thing is taking advantage of that opportunity and not just sitting back and, like you said, gliding through life or sailing through life. So I appreciate your input. That was beautiful. So you own real estate, and mostly commercial real estate. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we own a lot of residential real estate as well. When we started investigating opportunities so that we can quit our day job, the first thing that popped up off our radar was owning real estate. And owning residential real estate is the easiest way that people can get into the industry in the first place, because you just put 20% down, 5% down. I mean, you put 3.5% down is the lowest barrier. You get into real estate, you buy that property, and after 2 years you move to another property, and you keep repeating the same. So that's how we started. Then we owned a bunch of residential real estate. Then we got into commercial real estate, and we own a lot of commercial real estate. And then we started investing into businesses. We own a family fun center. It's called Makudu's Island in Chandler. If you have kids, we do birthday parties and such. We used to own a hospice before. So we own a bunch of other businesses. But the thing or the item of value for the audience will be that you can literally own any business in this country and run it. You don't have to learn or know everything about that business when you're starting a business. As long as you learn how to read the numbers and say, okay, how much revenue that you need to get and how much the expenses that there will be. It's the same business. Like, we run a hospice business wherein we are caring for the dead. That business and family fun center business is the same. There is no difference. I feel that people overcomplicate it, thinking, oh, what business I have to go? Oh, I'm good at this and bad at this and all that. It doesn't matter. The business should add value to the community. Only then they'll pay you. You can even start a funeral home. It doesn't matter. If people are dying in that area, funeral home is a good business. You don't have to start like some fancy thing that's out of the blue, is what I learned. And it went well for us. We could have missed some opportunities if we would have invented something, and maybe we could have been in a different planet. But then we try to keep it simple, right? Real estate we can easily buy with our Intel income. We started there. We own bunch of residential, then we graduated to commercial, then we graduated into owning businesses. Then we learned how to sell businesses profitably, so we sold some businesses. That's a great that's a great business by itself. You buy a business, develop it, sell it. There is so many opportunities. You don't have to go one way or the other, but you start somewhere. The problem is starting, right? You don't start, you don't have anything to sell or aspire for.
One key thing that you mentioned, Kiran, is keeping it simple. We tend to overcomplicate things for ourselves all the time. So I'm one of those investors before the market crash in 2008. I owned a lot of property and I lost a lot of property, just like millions of other people around this country. So that created a fear in me, and I'm sure in a lot of people, to do that investing again. What advice would you give people like that?
Just hypothetically, of course, you lost money, I lost money, everybody lost money during recession. The key thing is, I mean, imagine now that we have the crystal ball to go back, right? We can go forward. If you would have kept those properties, let me ask you, if you have kept those properties, somehow figured out a way to keep them, today, would they be worth more than what when you lost them?
A lot more.
Lot more, right? So that is the key learning. That is the absolute key learning, that, hey, if you lose in 2008, doesn't mean that you'll be back in the same gig. If you are able to consistently cling on to it for a few more years, it's going to work. So that is my biggest learning. We lost our shirt during recession time, but still we were able to bounce back because we had the learnings. Right. We learned that it's okay to lose 100 times. You just make one good deal and that will be a wash, and people are not even going to think about where you lost. But people only want to build on the learnings and see, okay, what can I do next? Wherein two things, it's going to have the least stress on my soul, and then it has to have the maximum benefit. When I completely retired last year, because I felt pretty content and I was feeling burnt out, that hey, I don't want to really work this hard, and I was just feeling like, okay, it's going well, why should we do it? But then what happened was, I was feeling that I'm not using all my learnings to the fullest potential. That's when we started this YouTube channel, and how we wanted to share all this, because me sharing with everybody is helping me remember the learnings again. So it's helping me. So yesterday, me and my wife, we went and we saw a big 24,000 square feet office building that's for sale. Then my wife said, we thought we are not going to do all this anymore. I said, I'm excited again. So it's like life begets life, right? You get life back into something, your ideas and your passion, then the fire is going to keep you going. And it's a good thing for everybody, not just for my family, for the community. Because through the process, we give some jobs to other people who help us. So I think that's how the economy goes. You are not trying to help yourself, you're trying to help people around you, is how it boils down to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about. there's a 20-year-old out there that wants to start their own business and he or she is afraid. What advice would you give that person?
First is a 20-year-old should never be afraid. That's my first suggestion. You have nothing to lose. You have no one to prove to, because you don't have a track record. You don't really have anybody to say, hey, this is this around that. The bar of entry for many businesses is low. See, in this economy, there is so many opportunities. You have to be able to make up your mind to see if that is your strength. I mean, I have a little 4 quadrant in my office wherein I have, these are basically 4 circles, right? So one is what you like to do, and then what you can get paid for, right? 2 circles. And then the other 2 circles is what the world needs. And then the last circle is if you are able to deliver it timely. So all of these, the core strengths and your weaknesses, you have to plot and see where they all map. And the map should be in the center. If you're a terrific artist, you don't want to become a software engineer. You want to make sure that you are an artist. But then you have to have an art that the world needs. You can't do just art and hope that people buy it for millions. And if you have to quickly realize you're a 20-year-old, you have to be smart enough to see, okay, does this art is something that the world needs? And if they are going to pay top dollar for it. If you think it's not, then I would try to explore other interests that you have or other skills, because everybody has their own skill. If you are good at YouTube or video editing, go into that. Or if you think that you will be a good investor, if you are analytical, then start investing with people. I know clients who started with their parents investing with them. So you find a good real estate agent like us or anybody, and then say, okay, I want to get into real estate, and then you convince your dad, your brother, your uncle, somebody is going to invest in you. Then you start from there. But you have to understand what is your interest. You have to be very interested in what you are doing, but you cannot pick an interest that is worthless, right? And then you keep on working from there. It's a work in progress. They say that even if a flight is starting from Phoenix to go to DC, as the wind starts to impact, the pilot has to slightly alter the course. He cannot say, oh, in Phoenix I decided to do art, and then you keep on going, you end up somewhere else. But you have to slightly recalibrate and see, okay, every so often, okay, is this still interesting me? Is this still valuable for the world? Is this still something that I can feed my family? Is this still something that I can make my parents proud about? So all those factors come in and you keep recalibrating. For a 20-year-old, I mean, I can give so much of mentorship. So you have to go around your sphere and talk to people that you feel are successful in your life. You should have somebody that you look up to, and there is no reason for you to be fearful. Contact them through Instagram, Facebook, contact them, and then people will be glad to mentor people. Like, I love to mentor kids. If they ask me a question, I would never rudely say no or ignore it. I'm going to do that. Brian Tracy responded to me. Why would Brian Tracy is a billionaire? Why would he respond to Kiran? He did. That proves to the 20-year-olds that nothing should stop them. They should ask. If you don't ask, if you're in your little cocoon, no, the world is not going to help you and support you.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. Thank you so much. Could you tell us where we can get your book?
They can go to my website, kiranandkiran.com, and we have a link to buy the book, or you can text us and we'll be happy to send the book. My number is 602-550-4842. Just text us and you can Zelle $20 to that, and that includes the shipping. Actually, it's $20 on Amazon. My assistant told me we are doing it for $10. Half price.
Fantastic.
Half price if you sell it to that and send in your address. We are going to ship it in US.
Great.
If it's overseas, I don't know how to ship it. Maybe it will be $12 or I don't know. We never shipped overseas, but we would love to ship our book to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. This was a great, informative interview, and it was an honor interviewing you.
No, honor is mine, and thank you so much for the great work your organization is doing. It's bringing a lot of people from all over the world under the umbrella and saying that yes, you can do it. and I'm so happy that you chose to include us. I'm missing my wife. I think she would have spoken even better than me with this, and hoping we'll reconnect again.
Thank you.
Thank you.